Do you dread portfolio review? Does the idea of sitting down and doing a portfolio review with your fundraising manager or with your direct report fill you with dread? Have you ever sat through a portfolio review meeting with the gift officer going line by line, reviewing over 500 names and providing an update on where they are with all of those giving prospects? It's torturous, isn't it? So today I'm going to share some tips to make the most out of your portfolio review meetings. I'm Regina Alasan, CEO of ResearchPRO, my prospect development, coaching, and consulting firm. And today let's dive in so we can start to begin to make the most of our time as we review our giving portfolios. So let's set a couple of, let's level set a little bit, as it were. So if you are a gift officer, a frontline fundraiser, and you have a portfolio of donors and prospects that you are managing, you should not have more than 100 assigned prospects. Let 100 assigned prospects be the top end of your portfolio, and we know that the smaller your portfolio, the better managed your donors are, the more consistent you are in building those relationships and providing the cultivation and stewardship that is necessary for a successful donor relationship. So that's one thing that I want us to keep in mind. If you have assigned prospects, 100 really should be your cap, especially if we're talking about major giving prospects. If you're an annual fund manager or annual fund officer, you may have a pool of prospects assigned to you just for tracking purposes in your database, and that's fine. And if you go over 100, that's fine. But for the purpose of major gift cultivation, 100 really should be your max. And when we are doing the portfolio review, I recommend deep dive portfolio review at least twice a year. You could be a bit more diligent in doing that on a quarterly basis. And some of us are only able to do that on an annual basis, or it just makes more sense to do it once a year. And that's fine. Whatever works for your organization and your team's capacity, definitely do it. If you can do it at least twice a year, every 6 months, perfect. And so as we're doing that deep dive review, there are a few things that we want to make sure that we are covering so that we can make them as productive as possible. First, everyone that is in your assigned portfolio should have a goal attached to that. That's a dollar goal as well as an engagement plan or some sort of engagement goal, and not just assigned to you with no clear reason why. And the way that we can track what that reason is by having an assigned dollar goal. What do you plan on asking for? What do you think they can give during that cultivation period or during that year, during the campaign, etc. And so having a clear goal around the ask amount as well as the engagement plan allows us to get to the point where we're able to track our progress and our progress to goal, which gets to the second important point around movement. We don't want to just review a list of names and see like, okay, yes, it's an update. Yes, this person exists. Yes, they're assigned to me. We want to take a look and be very mindful about the movement and the progress towards those dollar goals and those engagement plans. So what stage are they in? Are they in discovery and qualification? Are they in cultivation, solicitation, stewardship? Are they in some mashup of stuvation? Those are really important things that help us understand the movement of a particular donor or prospect. And then we need to be mindful of how many of our assigned prospects are in those different stages. So we can't have a prospect pool or a portfolio, an assigned portfolio, where everyone in that assigned portfolio is in cultivation or in discovery. Some of them there has to be a nice balance of some in discovery, some in cultivation, some we're actively soliciting and ready to close, and some we've already solicited, received the gift, and now in stewardship. So think about the balance that makes sense for you in the percentages that you want in those different stages, as it were. And so then as we're doing the portfolio review, we're looking for movement from one stage to the other. So it's very important for us to be thinking about what's the dollar goal, what's the engagement plan, what's the engagement goal, and where are they at? And is there any movement from 1 month to the next, 6 months from the 1 year to the next 6 months to the next 6 months, etc. And then another really important piece to portfolio review that oftentimes gift officers are just afraid of, or shy away from, or just really resistant to, is thinking about who needs to go. So we really are using this as an opportunity to call and really curate our assigned prospects. So who needs to go? And this is not always just dropping people and putting them out into the ether, never to be seen, touched, or heard from, or engaged again. But who needs to go? Who can just kind of live in the annual fund churn? Who can go into like the land of automation, as it were, and just continue to get the automatic engagement, the emails, the newsletter, the yearly annual appeal, etc. Who can sort of go in the annual fund churn versus being assigned to you for very hands-on donor engagement. The other thing that we can think about as far as who needs to go, maybe they just need to be assigned to someone else in your organization. Maybe another gift officer should work with them, or they have a better relationship with another gift officer, or maybe it just fits a better strategy for someone else in your organization to cultivate that relationship, whether or not it's a gift officer, an executive fundraiser, or your CEO, executive director, or board member even, or even a volunteer. So who else could do the work? Who else could develop that relationship? And then of course, as we think about who should go, there are some people on your list that are just duds. They're not going to give anymore. They're not going to give at all. They're not going to engage, or they've sort of reached the top, the maximum of what they're able to, in the ways that they're able to support you. So we have to identify those duds and sort of disqualified, or people that we need to cycle out of active relationship management. So those are a few key things. One, having a dollar goal and engagement plan in mind, looking at the stage or the movement from one stage to the next, and also being very mindful about who needs to go. I'm Regina Allison, CEO of ResearchPRO. I enjoy helping nonprofit leaders reach their highest goals, and I hope that you find this 5 minutes of fundraising helpful.